WrestleMania 28 pay-per-view review. WrestleMania 28 just went off there a little while ago, and I gotta say, as far as this WrestleMania this year, was a damn good WrestleMania. Now, the undercard for this year's WrestleMania could have been better, but in my opinion, even though the undercard could have been better, and if it was better, would have made the show even better than what it actually was, I don't think the undercard really affected the show because you had 3 great matches on here. The Hell in the Cell with Triple H and Undertaker was incredible. Really enjoyed that match. That match and probably Jericho's match with CM Punk for the WWE title kind of tied with being the best match of the night, both of them. I would probably say, storytelling-wise, wrestling-wise, I preferred CM Punk and Jericho just a little more, but Triple H and Undertaker was a hell of a match, and the main event, Rock and Cena, obviously the thing everyone was looking forward to this year at WrestleMania, the match that was 1 year in the making, dream match. A lot of people probably thought they would have never seen this match, and gotta say for Rock, for not being in a singles match, and the last time he was in a singles match was over 9 years ago. He did not lose one step in the ring. Him and Cena tore down the house. Very electrifying moments in that match, at the beginning with the stare down, and the crowd was just into that match the whole entire time and just loved it. And I think it was smart to have The Rock go over John Cena because most people would say, well, John Cena is one of those guys that's the company man. He is looking like he's never going to, do what Rock did, try to go to the Hollywood thing. He's always going to stay around, and Rock's not going to be around all the time, which obviously is true in that case. But I think the main reason why they chose to have The Rock go over John Cena here is because John Cena's already a made man. He's pretty much known as the company guy. Him losing The Rock, he doesn't lose anything, and more or less I think this was kind of with The Rock coming back, obviously a lot of the Attitude Era fans from the past probably tuned in, and I think Vince probably thought, well, if we would have Cena defeat Rock cleanly, most people would have probably got turned off from it. So I think that's one of the main reasons. But those 3 matches were really good. Very entertaining main event with Rock and Cena. Like I said, Rock didn't lose one step. Saw a great wrestling match with CM Punk and Chris Jericho for the WWE title, and the Hell in the Cell was great as well. So those 3 matches alone made this show great. And like I said, the undercard was a little bit weak, but in my opinion, those 3 matches alone made the show so good that the undercard really didn't affect the show overall, in my opinion. If you didn't have those 3 great matches, you just had maybe 1 great match, then you could say that, but 3 great matches on a wrestling show, you don't get that often. So let me get into the review now. The first matchup was pretty much a dark match, but it was the pre-show match WWE aired on WWE.com. This was for the WWE Tag Team titles with the Usos taking on Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, taking on Epico and Primo for the WWE Tag Team titles. More or less, for the time it was given, it actually wasn't a bad match. For about 4 or 5 minutes, all 3 teams got in everything. You saw some very good back and forth action. The Usos got in their things, and Tyson Kidd looked really good in this match. And Justin Gabriel, did his high flying stuff in here. So for the time it was given, it actually wasn't that bad. And considering, most people probably didn't really care about this match since it's the pre-show. Not everyone saw it. That for the time it was given, it wasn't too bad. And Primo and Epico retained the titles in this match. About 2 1/4 stars. Then you start the show off. Obviously, they do a number of things at the beginning of the show until the first match actually starts with Lillian Garcia singing the national anthem, and then the opening video for the WrestleMania, which was a great opening video for this year's WrestleMania. The first matchup was Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is 2 years in a row that the SmackDown title / the World Heavyweight title has been the opener of the show, which seems like that's probably going to be one of the things WWE is going to be wanting to do since they got 2 titles, is to have this title more or less be the opening kind of filler for the show for the most part. And these two, I was expecting something good. I didn't expect getting what I did in this match. I was expecting, maybe 12, 15-minute match, good back and forth action. I was expecting stuff like that. And especially since they work together so often, I was expecting at least a very good match. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. I guess for time constraints, they chose to do what they did, which was this match was only 18 seconds. Sheamus wins the title. At the beginning, Daniel Bryan was kissing AJ. He turns around, gets the bro kick from Sheamus, and Sheamus becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. So I guess they just wanted to start it off with a moment right there, Sheamus winning, and I guess for time constraints they did that. Unfortunately, this was Daniel Bryan's first WrestleMania, and him being World Heavyweight Champion. I wish I would have seen something better, but for time constraints, I guess that's what they chose to do, and they chose to book it that way instead. Since it was that short, not really giving that match a rating. Then the next matchup was Kane versus Randy Orton. This actually wasn't too bad of a match. I was expecting it to be a whole lot worse than what it was. You saw pretty much both of them working over each other. You saw a lot of headlocks in this match from both of them. And Randy Orton looked like he was going to pick up the victory. He was going for the RKO off the top rope from Kane. Kane called him with the chokeslam from the second rope, and Kane wins this match by defeating Randy Orton with the chokeslam from the second rope. And I think it was smart booking to have Kane go over here. I mean, Kane just lost to John Cena at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and if he would have lost here, it would have made him, lose even more credibility. Randy Orton didn't necessarily need to get the win here. So like I said, for Kane and Randy Orton for a match that was just pretty much thrown together, it was what it was. I mean, I was expecting a whole lot worse, so we at least got a decent match from the two, about 2 1/4 stars, 2.5 stars. Then the next matchup was Cody Rhodes versus Big Show. You actually saw some good things with these two within this match. Cody Rhodes was obviously, just like you would expect, working over the knee of Big Show in this match. Looking like Cody Rhodes is going to pick up the victory here. He was going for the springboard knee. He did that twice to Big Show. Then Big Show ended up hitting the KO punch to win this. So Big Show finally wins a singles match at WrestleMania and becomes, for the first time in his career, an IC champion. So I think now this is probably one of the very few titles that Big Show has never held. So because he's been world champion, WWE champion, he's pretty much held all the titles, tag team as well. So it looks like with this has every single title he can, obviously, bar and cruiserweight, since he obviously can't get that for obvious reasons. But this actually wasn't too bad of a match with Cody Rhodes and Big Show. I mean, it was what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting anything great, but it was kind of like Kane and Orton, pretty good match, but nothing great. As far as that match, I would give about, kind of like Kane and Orton, 2.5 stars. Then the next matchup was the women's match. This was Beth Phoenix and Eve taking on Kelly and Maria Menounos. Obviously, you knew what you were going to get in this match. Whenever celebrity is involved in wrestling, especially WWE, even in TNA, any wrestling company, the celebrity always goes over when they're booked in the match. So you knew that was going to happen. Pretty much just your typical Divas match. A little sloppy action in this match. The end of the match comes when Beth Phoenix has got Maria Menounos. She got her up in a press slam. Kelly saves her, and then both of them pretty much slam her into Beth Phoenix into Eve. Eve falls off the apron. Then Maria Menounos picks up the victory via a roll up, and Kelly and her won this match. Just your typical Divas match, nothing too special. And obviously, you knew the celebrity was going to go over in this match, so you knew what you were getting in this match before it even happened. You knew you were going to get a typical Divas match, nothing too special, and the celebrity was going to go over about 2.5 stars. Then the next matchup was Triple H versus Undertaker in the Hell in the Cell, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. Now, this match started a whole lot earlier than what I was expecting, but I guess the thing WWE figured is they didn't want to, have this match and CM Punk's match and obviously Rock. They wanted to have stuff in between everything, so I understand why they had this match go on at the time they did. But definitely was a shock that it was so early, because you never would have expected seeing Triple H and Shawn as early as what you did on this card. But this was a damn good match. This was a great Hell in the Cell. You saw excellent stuff in here. Started off with pretty much a lot of brawling, back and forth strikes, kicks, and everything. And then then during the match, you saw Triple H got busted open in this match. So one of the first matches in a little while that you actually see blood involved in the match. Especially in a Hell in the Cell, I think you need to have that. It's like, I'm not one of those people that is like, bloodthirsty fan that wants blood involved all the time in some big match, but in something like a Hell in the Cell, you kind of do need it involved, and it kind of does help the match sometimes. You saw not Triple H, but Undertaker put the Hell's Gate on Triple H. Pretty much looked like he was going to pick the victory up there. Then did it to Shawn Michaels. So Shawn Michaels and Undertaker kind of were having, back and forth stuff at the beginning of the match where Shawn Michaels looking like he was going to try to do something. Undertaker wasn't completely trusting him. And then at the same time, later in the match, Shawn Michaels kind of, saved Undertaker when Undertaker was about to get hit by the sledgehammer from Triple H. Triple H throws Shawn out of there. And then when Shawn Michaels, like I said, when Shawn Michaels gets in the Hell's Gate, both Shawn Michaels, the special guest referee, is pretty much out of there. Another referee comes out there. Charles Robertson, Undertaker attacks him. Both referees are down. Undertaker's trying to go for the win. Obviously, with both refs down, he cannot pick up the victory. Then they do stuff outside the cage. They didn't really utilize the cage as much as you probably would expect them to do in this match, but nonetheless, it was a great Hell in a Cell. That didn't really take away from it. They could have done more things outside and utilized the cage a little more, but they didn't. Triple H took a lot of vicious chair shots from Undertaker in this match. This was towards the middle / end, close to the end of the match. Undertaker kept hitting him back and forth with a lot of chairs. Triple H was going for the sledgehammer. Undertaker put his foot on it, stopped that. And then Triple H, towards the end, he's in the corner, trying to basically hold himself up. Undertaker goes after him. Triple H does the DX suck it symbol to him. Undertaker hits him with the sledgehammer to the head, then wins the match with the Tombstone Piledriver. So Undertaker goes 20-0, like you would expect, obviously. You do not ever want to end the Undertaker streak. It never needs to happen. So Undertaker went 20-0. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker hug at the end of the match. Then at the end, Triple H is picked up by Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and they help him to the back. Just a great moment right there. In an excellent Hell in a Cell match. Just a lot of good stuff in it. Really enjoyed it. About 4 1/4 stars, maybe even 4.5 stars. It was a hell of a really good match right there in the Hell in a Cell. Really enjoyed it a lot. I would say a whole lot better than the WrestleMania match last year, and probably even better than WrestleMania, and a whole lot better than WrestleMania 17. But definitely their best match they've had against each other at WrestleMania 17. Then the next matchup was Team Johnny versus Team Teddy. Within this end of this match, Team Johnny won this match. The Miz ends up picking up the victory. At the end of this, on Team Teddy, it looks like Zack Ryder is about to pick up the win for his team, Team Teddy. He basically lays everyone out. You getting a lot of action in the ring. And then Eve comes in there pretty much, celebrating what Zack Ryder's done. The referee wants her out of the ring. Zack Ryder basically gets distracted. The Miz hits the skull-crushing finale, so Team Johnny wins this match with, obviously, John Laurinaitis now being the permanent general manager of Raw and SmackDown. Then after this, you see them going backstage, celebrating that they won. John Laurinaitis runs into CM Punk and says that CM Punk's match now, if CM Punk loses the match via disqualification, he loses the title. And obviously they played that into the match, which was the next matchup was Chris Jericho versus CM Punk for the WWE title. This was a great wrestling match. You saw a lot of good in-ring psychology within this match. Just loved it. Great back and forth action. You saw CM Punk do a lot of... These two worked a great wrestling match here. You saw at the beginning, Chris Jericho was pretty much playing mind games with CM Punk, saying your father's a drunk, your sister is a drug addict, getting in Punk's head. Punk keeps on attacking him. The referee tries to stop it, because he only got 5 count when Jericho's pretty much got himself locked into the ropes. So Jericho's kind of pretty much trying to intentionally get CM Punk to lose this match via disqualification, because Jericho knows if he loses by disqualification, he wins the title. If Punk loses this match, he wins by disqualification. So you saw a lot of good mind games, and Chris Jericho getting in CM Punk's head at the beginning. CM Punk brought a steel chair and then realized that if he would have used it and hit Chris Jericho, that he would have got disqualified. So a lot of good stuff there. Kind of at that part, kind of playing back to Piper and Bret Hart from, I think, WrestleMania 8. That was pretty much what I got when I saw that part at the beginning, especially with, refusing to hit him with the steel chair. And then just a lot of great stuff here with these two. CM Punk dove out to the side dove out through the ropes. Chris Jericho outside the ring, and just a lot of good things. There was one part, CM Punk tried to go for the elbow off the top. Jericho basically countered it, got out of it. You saw a lot of good counters in this match. One of them I loved, which was Jericho was perched on the top rope. CM Punk was going for the Hurricane Rana. Jericho basically countered it into the walls of Jericho. Great stuff right there. And they did a lot of great stuff at the end of the match with counters. They were countering each other's. The walls, Chris Jericho was putting the walls Jericho in. Punk was reversing it into the Anaconda Vice, and just back and forth right there. Then they shared a couple near falls with each other, back and forth, near fall victories. And then CM Punk is pretty much at the end. He's has Chris Jericho's. They keep on reversing the holds. Chris Jericho tries to go for the walls of Jericho. CM Punk basically fights out of it, keeps and then locks in the Anaconda Vice, and ends up picking the victory up when Chris Jericho taps out here. A great match. Probably, this match, wrestling-wise, was the best match on here. But it's kind of close. It's kind of hard to say because I enjoyed the Hell in the Cell and this match, but both of them were great matches. This match I would easily give, 4 1/4 stars, maybe even 4.5 stars. Just another great match, just like the Hell in the Cell. And then the main event was John Cena versus The Rock. The match 1 year in the making, dream match. Everyone was looking forward to it. A great moment at the beginning when both of them staring down. The crowd was electric. The crowd just loved this match. They were into everything. It looked like, Cena was going to win it at one moment, then The Rock was going to win it. A number of near falls in here, and it looked like, at the beginning, it was kind of slow and methodical, which I kind of think the main reason why they were going with that is because Rock hasn't been in a singles match for a long time, so Rock didn't want to, get blown out early in the match, so that was kind of Cena going along with him. Cena, working over the ribs, putting the bear hug in a few times from the mat, and then hold him up and get him in the bear hug. Then you see them going back and forth. Just great stuff here. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. The Rock kicks out. The Rock hits rock bottom. Cena then kicks out of the rock bottom. The Rock tries to go for the people's elbow the first time, is unsuccessful that time. Then gets placed into Cena's submission move, and then the Rock. Then they do a lot of good things. Towards the whole entire match. Just great moments in this match. This is one of those matches that, it was a great entertaining match. Just loved every minute of it. And then at the end of it, looks like Cena's going to pick up the victory. He hits the attitude adjustment, and then he's pretty much want to be cocky. He wants to hit the people's elbow, and he tries to go for it. The Rock catches, and then the Rock kicks up, hits him with the rock bottom, and The Rock wins this match, which, like I said, I think was the best business move right there, is have The Rock win. He's going to be appearing at some other shows, and Cena didn't necessarily need this win. You didn't need something like the torch getting past the Cena. Cena's already been made in wrestling, so this match is another entertaining match, about 4 stars. So you saw on this pay-per-view, you had 3 excellent matches and really enjoyed it. This WrestleMania, I would definitely recommend to everyone check out. Like I said, the undercard could have been better, but in my opinion, those 3 matches right there alone made the show as great as what it was. And if you would have had even a better undercard, this could have been one of the best Manias in a long time. Those 3 matches alone were definitely worth this pay-per-view, and I would recommend everyone to go out and check out this WrestleMania, especially those 3 matches. And yeah, that's it for as far as overall this show, I give it about 8.5 out of 10. Great show, enjoyed it a lot, and definitely a very entertaining WrestleMania this year. Yeah, that's it for my WrestleMania 28 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.